Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Nate and Josh are here on a Tuesday with you guys. 6 games in the NBA, bunch of teams on a back-to-back as well, so got to watch out for those potholes there. We're going to be going into best bets in this episode, and we're also bringing you player props in this episode as well. We're going to go through those best bets first, but going to bringing these to you in one video moving forward so you can get all the action here right in one episode. But let's go ahead and jump into the first look you have here for these best bets. It is an SGP, and it does involve some players, I believe. So let's get into that with you, Nate.
Yeah, it involves the two teams that are leading the Eastern Conference, like we all thought, the Sixers at Bulls. And yeah, I mean, I think I lean towards the Sixers here, like you're saying, but I'd rather just target their players and not worry about the 240 total here, trying to get over that or trying to get the win. I think Maxi's going to have a great time scoring here. I mean, the Bulls, their defensive philosophy is basically just like, sure, you can get in the paint, you can score twos. We're just going to run you off the line, and Maxi's going to be a terror in that regard after getting 26 in back-to-back games where he basically had cold games. And now he's going to have a great situation. But at the same time, they are going to try to like focus on him more as teams have. And that's led to increased usage for Quentin Grimes, who is the outlet, the other playmaking outlet, more so than VJ Edgecombe, who had that sensational debut and is still very involved. But you look at the last three, Edgecombe has a 16% usage rate, 7 potential assists. Grimes is second in touches with 12 potential assists per game with a 24% usage rate. He's averaging 20 and 6.3 assists per game. And while he does take a ton of threes, while the Bulls try to limit 3-point attempts, like his volume is so high. And the fact that Maxi makes you collapse so much and people aren't that worried about Quentin Grimes being a high volume 3-point shooter, I think he'll still be able to get them up. The assists are a pretty good look on their own. It's even money for him to get 4 after, which is something he's done pretty consistently here. I mean, we just saw the blueprint too by the Knicks against the Bulls. They got worked by a ball dominant guard in Brunson and playmaking wings. Mikal Bridges 9 assists in that first loss there for the Bulls, making plays out of the corner, off the wing. And I think Grimy will be in the same situation. Also, Ayo Dosunmu questionable, which is a pretty big deal as far as the rotation for the Bulls.
It's a really big deal for sure for the guards in general. He's the best defensive guard that they have. Otherwise, we're talking about Trey Jones and Josh Giddey. A lot of them. 35 plus minutes for both of them. If there is no Dosunmu and Giddey could touch that anyway, that might not impact this bet. I mean, maybe there's some Giddey on Grimes. He's not like the worst. He's tall. That's Giddey's defensive prowess. He's tall, right? And he's at least fleet of foot enough. But yeah, for this looks good. I don't like the Maxi assists, and I like the way you're playing it because I think once he gets in there, they've shown they're not going to just collapse on him. They're not going to collapse on anybody. So he'll still be able to get to the rim, and agree that he'll be getting to the free throw line. That's going to help him get his points big time. And I am going to take the Sixers in this one. I think Dosunmu matters. I don't not believe in the Bulls, but I mean, I believe in what they're telling me, where they're letting people score, how bad their defense still really is. I applaud the effort to like limit the 3-point stuff a lot, but that's not really where Philly's getting their stuff from, as we know. Like Embiid is taking a good amount of threes, but like even the Oubres and the Grimes, especially Oubre, right, is attacking. Love how he's attacking. I'd be looking at his points as well if he's fully healthy. He left last game, but they were already up by like a gajillion, so I didn't think it didn't really need to come back in the last game that he left for a minute. So yeah, I think this is all good for Philly in that sense. I think the key here for Philly is going to be that their defense, it's not good by any means, but it's not bad, and I believe in it enough in terms of the wings and their ability to stop how this Bulls team scores. Right, there's not really much. There's not going to be any Vooch going down low against Embiid for sure. And then when you get Drummond in there, I think he's going to be a better look for this game for Philly too, just so he can sort of keep Vooch out of the paint and then force him to shoot those threes. He's at like 4 or 5 3-point attempts per game for Vooch. It's like 1.5 for him at minus money. I don't like any of it for him in that sense. He might score here and there in this game. I think 19.5 points probably pretty fair for him, but I think he's I'm honing in on him because he's the only one that does what he does. He's the only one who does anything close to the rim, and he hasn't really been doing that much this season. I don't think it's a good matchup for it. So I just like Philly. I think this is too small for a team that I actually believe in a bit more than I do the Bulls.
Yeah, maybe Embiid actually has somebody to guard in Vooch while he's out there. He won't just get put in the blender. We've seen the Sixers fall into holes because they just don't play well with Embiid out there. He gets his points, and they're just sacrificing the other end. And then Adem Bonig comes in and it's just like, oh, we level up. We got athleticism now, so I mean that could help them for sure, because he's had a lot of success against Vooch, and yeah, I mean the Bulls got to come back to earth a little bit here. Would rather fade them on the road, but I was also looking at this, when I was analyzing this game, and eventually just settled on the stats. So I agree with you. I'm gonna take the points here. Clips on a back to back.
Yeah.
OKC undefeated, but this is getting a little too high, man, and might climb a little bit more. Just because of the situation with Kawhi Leonard, who says he plans on playing, but the coaching staff might force him to sit. And then you look at the Clippers roster, and it's not that inspiring, right? It's not like, oh, this is what I want to go to war with against OKC. It's a bunch of old dudes and Brad Beal and James Harden, but they're very well coached, man. And this is actually where you want to come in and back them. They are no longer the team that like you expect to handle business against bad teams like we saw last year. And then, you don't know about them against good teams. Like they apparently are not serious against bad teams. Like they are not a team you can trust against mediocre down teams. They cannot get up for any game. They should be up for this game because it's SGA, right? And if Kawhi sits, there is more emotion involved. We can at least say there's more guys out there flying around a little bit on defense, following the instructions of Van Gundy and Ty Lue to give Shea a little bit of trouble here. And it's just not the same OKC, man. I mean, Dort is sick. AJ Mitchell is questionable. It took a hard fall, right? No J-Dub, of course. Chet might come back here. But that plays into the projection here, which is lowest total of the night, 221 and falling. And it's hard to cover 7.5 with a low total. Clips, James Harden can keep your offense afloat. John Collins has very good numbers against the Thunder in the last 6. So I would look at him if you think Kawhi is going to sit. And this is, like I said, this is the spot. They've actually covered, Josh, in 16 straight home games, including the playoffs, when listed as dogs. It probably goes back further. Actually, my data just ended in January last week, but 16 straight covers, and they've covered this number 4 or 5 at home against OKC. Like I'm saying, they're grimy defensive battles usually, and they're usually up for them to try to hold Shea back.
Yeah, I was coming here too, and I didn't even know the stats backed up this spot for the Clippers. It's such a spot, though. And then the trends that you're talking about for the last 16 as home dogs tells you that this is a spot as well. It just sort of validates it more than anything. Obviously, don't know. I haven't dissected all 16 of those games, who was in, who was out, whatever. But I do know that when they're at home as dogs and they're playing a team that is good, then I'm going to feel good about them hanging around. Like, look, it could go one of two ways too. It could go like they just flop in the first for whatever reason, then they just give up. That's what the Clippers do too. But I just don't see that happening in this one as well. But this is a good matchup too. I was happy to take this one here with the Magic minus 3.5. They're going to get better. Like they're going to get better. There's no question about that. We'll start to talk about if coaching is the issue on offense for the Magic at some point, but hopefully before then it gets better. And it's gotten a bit better with Paolo at the point in a way in the last couple, playing a little bit more facilitator. Like Jalen Suggs is out there for the 20-25 minutes that he is just playing total, free safety, do everything guy. And then Franz, like the shooting still isn't there. It's not, but like the Hawks don't have Trae Young. I believe in the Hawks' other players a good amount. I really believe in Jalen Johnson. I don't know if you could make his prop too high for me to like it without Trae Young right now. You'd have to get close to like 40s for the PRA for me to be like, oh, maybe I'm out. But like even 35, 36.5 PRA, I think it's even lower than that. I like it. It's just I don't like much else. I think too much else relies on Trae, right? Jalen Johnson, just give it to me and I will out athletic you. And I've got enough moves, enough quickness at my height that I'll just do what I need to do. So him at like 20, 12 and 5, great. I'm good with that moving forward. But for the Magic, it's going to be about shutting down pretty much everybody else. And I think they're going to be able to do that really well. And I think Suggs is going to go up a couple minutes here as well, and maybe get another up to like 25 or so. But this Magic defense up to about 11th in defensive rating, which is huge. And the Hawks, I believe they were pretty good at rebounding to start the season, but they've fallen off entirely. Yeah, now they're all the way back down at the worst rebounding percentage in the league. They were at like 17th, and I was like, oh, hey, that's not bad for a team that like outside of a few like wings, I don't trust even like Okongwu to be a good rebounder. But yeah, they're back down 30th in rebound percentage, and this Orlando team still 8th and going to continue to be that bully. So they've got to win. This is a division game. You can't go down 0-2 to the team that is the only real rival to win that division. No offense to the Heat. So I do think that this is a sort of big early win for the Magic.
Yeah, that seems like a Porzingis stat, to be honest. The
Right.
lack of rebounding is like,
Yeah.
man, that guy's terrible on the boards. And the Magic are gonna throw him around a little bit while he's out there. Maybe we look at a Kongwu, then getting more minutes in this matchup, then Porzingis being more productive on the boards and with the points. I agree with you in the sense that I started to make a case to myself for the Hawks here, and then the numbers just poked holes all over it. And I was just
Yeah.
like, nope, not going to do it. Don't trust Atlanta at all. And Orlando, yeah, if it's a question, do you buy into these last two results as
Right.
them turning the corner rather than just saying like, well, they were terrible opponents? Well, if they turn the corner, we're gonna find out tonight.
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I think they're going to run into the corner in this one because the Magic need this one too bad. But let's get into some player prop specific looks here and get over to that Toronto game and start with an under that look like. Tell me what to do with Toronto. I don't want to bet on them. I would be going unders if I could find it with them. But there's just so many guys doing the same thing now that I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, it makes it an awkward fit when you are Emmanuel Quickly, who's an athletic wing like point guard, right?
Right.
And you're surrounded by wings. I mean, it's led to the lowest defensive rebounding rate of his career since rookie year here, and some really awful shooting splits, right? I mean, he's 39-27%. So for this number to be at 20.5, I think it's kind of based on the fact that he went for 19-8 against Milwaukee in game 2 of the season. But let's look at the trend since then. That was the start of a 4-game losing streak for the Raptors. They made some changes, including the last two in wins, quickly down to 29 minutes per game. Jamal Shed getting 19 minutes per game plus 17, only 14% usage for Quickly. And his confidence, after being a minus 34 combined in the 3 losses to the Texas teams, has kind of plummeted. It seems. What is he averaging? Like 6 points per game in these last two. The shot is not there. The driving lanes are not there because you have 3 other guys who want to operate in those same areas of the floor. Milwaukee's defense is also pretty damn good. I mean, 6th in 3-point defense, fast break defense, assists per game. Basically, the areas you want to limit point guards. So despite the fact that they're on a back-to-back here, that makes me, wary of them winning here, wary of Giannis having the same kind of production he did in game 2 against the Raptors. But I don't worry about the defensive guards right now, like Ryan Rollins, who we've heaped praise on, and his defense and trying to hold Quickly down, force the Raptors to go somewhere else with their rotation again.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, odd man out in that sense for Quickly. I'm with it. Like I said, haven't really dove into the Raptors much, but this is a guy that I've been watching. And at first it was like, oh, maybe there's gonna be some unders for Suggs because he's gonna get like 15-ish minutes in a game to start the season, and that was the case. He played like 17, played 19, he's been playing under 20. And now I think this is a good game to get up to 25. I think he would have gotten to 25 in the last game, but they blew out. I remember one of the worst teams in the league, maybe it was Wizards, blew him out in a way that Suggs didn't have to play after 3 minutes in the third quarter. And then it was just done, but he was already at 21. It was the first half minutes that told me that oh, he's going to get back into these natural rotations where it was a 20-minute limit. I bet it's 25 at least now. And it's going to keep rising if they needed it to for him. So I think the RA is the thing that's just still too low. The points, he's been shooting really well when he gets the points and just shooting poorly when he doesn't. He was bound to come back down to earth after shooting like 80% to start the season. And then he goes and shoots like 25 and 30% in the next couple games. And so I don't know, maybe he's back to his averages now and he'll get up to the like 45, 48% that he normally shoots from the field in general, other than that one great 3-point season. But the key here is the hustle stats. And it's kind of the key all season. Like I think Jalen Suggs looks at this as an awesome opportunity to have a guy like Desmond Bane around, not a guy who's taking anything from him. He's like, dude, I'm down to, I just want to play on the ground, be dirty, get all the hustle stats, just like play in the dirt and in the muck. And so if you let me do that and play free, yeah, I'll take the 3 when you guys pass me the spot up. I'm here for it. But like, that's not what I'm really caring about at this point. I only dropped the points I did last year because there literally was nobody else to do it when I was out there. So happy to take that back seat in that sense. But as far as the RA goes, like he's getting the chances, he's getting the potentials, and that's the volume that's still there for him.
Yeah, it's a good call. Yeah, just the change in role for Suggs, who even when he is asked to score, can do it. I mean, he does
Yeah.
anything that Jamal Mosley asks, right? That's why he calls him Soldier. So
Yeah.
I like the hustle stats there for your boy. Trey Murphy, man, it has not worked out for him yet this year. But look at the matchups. Like, I mean, PRA, I think he can get over. I mean, his last 5 matchups: Thunder, Clips, Nuggets, Celtics, and Spurs. Who, by the way, he did go 24, 10, and 5 against the Spurs. Actually, like the Pelicans, their best showings have been against the Spurs and Clips this year for whatever reason. But tonight, Yves Missi questionable, Zion questionable with a hammy, and is very discontent. I would not be surprised if he doesn't play, or if he's out there, he's just like being a little passive and grumpy because he's on the worst team in the West at this point. So more usage for Trey, who without Missi, that was when he had his biggest line there against the Spurs, when the Pels went a little bit more small ball, when he was able to operate from the wings and grab 10 boards with no true center here. And that's kind of the people who have been scoring a lot against Charlotte. 13 guys have 18 plus points in their last 4 against Charlotte. 11 I would qualify as big wings or guards. There's 2 centers in there. But Kalkbrenner pretty good at that position, and the Charlotte wing defenders not so much. They are 4th worst defensive rating these last 4, 4th worst guarding the 3, and allow the 4th most assists. So, I mean, my only concern is that Fears and Poole are both just dominating the ball, time on the ball when they get it, and they're just alternating who gets to do that. But I mean, in this particular matchup, I think when you get it kicked out against Charlotte, there's going to be a secondary closeout to attack, and Trey Murphy's going to make hay off that.
I just think he's like everybody should score. There's going to be a lot of points in this game. And if Zion is either in or mentally not in, but physically in, Trey Murphy will be mentally and physically in. He still has like a career ahead of him, even if it's not in New Orleans, hopefully. I don't know. It's just that franchise is just absolute train wreck. But the Hornets are a great way to feel good about yourselves, or at least play a competitive basketball game with a lot of points in it. So you maybe look at on offense, but I like a lot of overs in that game for sure. I'm taking Caruso now. We don't have the official Lou Dort news, but that helps this a ton, because like you then are down to Kason and Caruso as your Harden stoppers, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Caruso in the starting lineup for that reason. Obviously, if Lou Dort does not go, that makes the most sense to me as the guy to replace him. Although I guess it makes it easier to just leave Kason in there. Either way, there's basically 48 minutes between Caruso and Kason at that point. So I think you guarantee yourself Caruso like 20 to 22 to 23 minutes, and I think there's a higher ceiling where he gets high 20s, right? As like a guy that you want around for the Harden minutes, basically. And that's why I'm also considering a guy like Chris Dunn has great numbers against OKC, because he's always out there last year for the Clippers to play against SGA. Similar concept on the other side. But for the most part, this is just too low, because Caruso is just like, there's correlations between blowouts and him not needing to play. How good is the other team? Does he need to play? He was coming back off injury earlier in the year. So I think this is just depressed, right? I think it's deflated because he's only gotten 8 as the most points he's gotten this season so far. And this feels like a good game to take that low number that often is about 9, 10.5 points for Caruso.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, AJ Mitchell might not be able to
Exactly.
go, or he might not have as high usage. Yeah, I love Caruso being a scorer here with J Dub out. As far as the Thunder, this is what we saw in the playoffs time and time again, where J Dub was just like missing in action as or Chet, like just like struggling to find their footing as like in big games as the guy who's going to hit big shots, and Caruso's like, I'll do it, man. I got stones, and yeah, we do expect this to have some juice in it here against the Clippers. So I think it is a Caruso spot.
Yep, absolutely. But that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Enjoy the 6-game slate. Be careful with those injury reports. Still got a couple guys that are questionable. You got to take a little bit of time to bet those before you can get that news. But we will be back here as always with another episode of both these best bets and player props for you guys tomorrow. So until we see you next, happy betting.